Okay, guys, hello again. Day 76 in a row. That's just amazing. So now I think I'm going to do just a little bit of Anki and then
I really love.
watch a few videos from here and yeah, wrap it up. 30 minutes, 1 hour. We'll see. Not not much. Not much today, but we keep going.
I really love Japanese. I love Japanese so much that I have purchased hundreds of Japanese from Zero books because I want every revision, I want every color change, every shift in the title position. I want every single one. That's how much I love Japanese from Zero. Today's going to be good. I made some really good things today. Very excited for them myself. Hello and welcome to Japanese from Zero, Course 2, Lesson 5. We're going to do a short particle review that is very important before we move on to the next video. The next video is going to be called Particle Shuffle, and that's where we're going to take 4 words, only 4 words, and then mix them up with a variety of particles and make tons of different sentences just by changing the particle. But in order to do that, you do need to understand how particles work. So I really hope you watched this video first. At this lesson, we do need to know tachitsuteto. I have to keep reminding you of that, but I think you already know. So let's go ahead and just one by one look at what particles we've learned through course 1 or book 1, depending on what you're doing. Same material through course 2 so far. So the first thing we learned was ka. When a phrase ends with ka, it makes it a question. It's very simple, like nan desu ka? What is it? Ikimasu ka? Are you going? Kyou wa getsuyobi desu ka? Is today Monday? Random things like that. Topic marker wa. We know that when a wa is in a sentence, the thing directly before the wa is the topic of the sentence, and everything after the wa is a question or description of the topic. For example, watashi wa George desu. I, and the topic, am George, the description. Anata wa Nihonjin desu ka? You are the topic. The question is, are you Japanese? So everything revolves around this wa. And when your Japanese gets more advanced and when you're doing bigger sentences, this rule does not change. The wa will always note the topic and everything after it, like literally everything after it, is a question or description of that topic. Now later on, when you're doing much bigger sentences, you'll have sentences contained within sentences. For example, you can have a quote where George said, "I like Japan." Now you've got "I like Japan" as the quote and George said, but the rules don't change. Everything in the quoted or encapsulated sentences are still going to be following rules with some minor changes. We'll learn that in, I think that is course 3 when this background turns to green. All right, and then we learned subject marker ga. The first usage of this we used with nani nani, something, right? Maru maru, if you remember. Ga suki desu. I like something. And the way we taught it was that if you are the topic, of course, you're going to say watashi wa, and the thing that you like is marked with ga. So, watashi wa inu ga suki desu. I like dogs. Watashi wa Nihongo ga daisuki desu. I love Japanese language. And remember that daisuki doesn't mean. Now you've got I like Japan wa. And when your Japanese gets more advanced and when you're doing bigger sentences, this rule does not change. The wa will always note the topic and everything after it, like literally everything after it, is a question or description of that topic. Now later on, when you're doing much bigger sentences, you'll have sentences contained within sentences. For example, you can have a quote where George said, "I like Japan." Now you've got "I like Japan" as the quote and George said, but the rules don't change. Everything in the quoted or encapsulated sentences are still going to be following rules with some minor changes. We'll learn that in, I think that is course 3 when this background turns to green. All right, and then we learned subject marker ga. The first usage of this we used with nani nani, something something, right? Maru maru, if you remember. Ga suki desu. I like something. And the way we taught it was that if you are the topic, of course you're going to say watashi wa, and the thing that you like is
subject, topic, in θέμα. Θεματική πρόταση. Subject. Υποκείμενο. Topic sentence. Θεματική πρόταση. Υποκείμενο. Okay.
marked with ga. So, watashi wa inu ga suki desu. I like dogs. Watashi wa nihongo ga daisuki desu. I love Japanese language. And remember that daisuki doesn't really mean love. It means like a lot. But in English,
Topic of a sentence. Θεματική πρόταση. Η πρόταση είναι ένα από τα τρία στοιχεία που αποτελούν τη δομή της μιας παραγράφου. Θεματική πρόταση, λεπτομέρειες και κατακλείδα. Είναι το πρώτο από τα τρία σημεία της παραγράφου, εκφράζει το κύριο θέμα της παραγράφου και δίνει έναν πρόλογο, μια εισαγωγή.
we love to say love, but we don't really mean love. We mean like a lot. We learned this extremely important.
Possession.
No, possession marker. So no, it is used when you have a word that is a noun, a pronoun, for example, a pronoun like watashi, anata, kare, kanojo. And if you add no to it, it makes it into the possessive form of that. My, watashi no, yours, anata no, his, kare no, hers, kanojo no. It's also just like the English apostrophe S. So if it comes after a name, Joji no cola desu. George's cola. This is all possessive form. Kanojo. No, we learned this extremely important. A word that is a noun, a pronoun, for example, a pronoun like watashi, anata, kare, kanojo. And if you add no to it, it makes it into the possessive form of that. My, watashi no, yours, anata no, his, kare no, hers, kanojo no. It's also just like the English apostrophe S. So if it comes after a name, Joji no cola desu. George's cola. This is George's cola. Joji no iPhone desu. George's iPhone. All right. And yeah, that was it. We also learned what to does. To is and. Very simple. The big difference between this to an American and or English and is that this is used between every item in the list. So if I want to say why I didn't throw away this fork from lunch, I don't know. But if I want to say, let's see, we got Eevee's playing another. I love when Eevee comes on. I swear I love Eevee's. Still doing Pokemon Go. All right, so we've got fork to hasami to Eevee desu. See? Watashi wa I Eevee to hasami to fork ga arimasu. I don't think that sentence has ever been said in the history of the planet. I have a fork, scissors, and an Eevee. Now you've heard it for the very first time ever uttered on this planet. All right. Then we learned mo. Now, mo really just means to or also, but I like to call it the inclusion marker because it's including whatever is directly before it. So, for example, I could say, fork ga arimasu. I have a fork. Hasami mo arimasu. I also have scissors. Eevee mo imasu. I also have Eevee. Notice. Did you see what I just did? It was kind of like a sleight of hand thing. I changed the verb. It was hasami ga arimasu. And whatever the other thing was, fork ga arimasu. Because these are dead. They're not alive, right? Now, it's awkward because Eevee, I said imasu. Even though it's not alive, in the game it is alive. So I referred to it as imasu. If I was talking about the toy Eevee, I would have said Eevee no omocha. A toy Eevee, right? Eevee no omocha ga arimasu. That was a good example. I like that. I'm going to use that in the future. All right, let's move on. We learned ni. We learned two versions of ni. We learned the time marker and the location marker. Let's do time first. I'm going to go at 3 o'clock. 3時に行きます. I'm going to go in January. 1月に行きます. Okay, so you notice that the ni comes after the time. Particles always follow the thing that they are attached to. Okay, and it's used for place. I'm going to go to Japan. 日本に行きます. I went to China. 中国に行きました. And we can combine, of course, all of these can be put into a large sentence, but let's just, a very common one is, at a certain time, I'm going to go to a certain place. So let's say, I'm going to go to Japan at 4 o'clock. No, let's make it Tuesday. On Tuesday, I'm going to Japan. 火曜日に日本に行きます. Oh, you know what? I forgot one of our particles because I could have also said 日本へ written with the he, right? へ, but it's read as へ. 日本へ行きます means I'm going to Japan. It really means I'm going towards Japan. You use へ when you're talking about going towards a large area or towards the right, towards the left, towards a direction. But we also learned that Japanese mix these up quite often. Later, we learned that ni can be used to say a spot where something might be. So, for example, I could say, フォークは私の手にあります. Okay? The fork is in my hand. 手にあります. But I could never, ever say 手へあります because へ has to have a direction, a motion has to be happening. There is no motion when something is just sitting somewhere. All right. Then we learned our first double particle. It's not really a double particle, it's just a double syllable particle. We do learn that you can sometimes have a double particle. We'll talk about that in a second. But kara means it's put after the beginning time or the beginning location when you're getting ready to go somewhere. Okay, so for example, for time, I would say from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock would be 1時から3時です。1時から3時です。If I want to say from Tokyo, I would say 東京から。I came from Tokyo. 東京から来ました。When you're in Japan, if you want to say I'm from America, you just say I literally forgot how to say America for a second, but it's really easy. It's America. But did you know that there's another way to say America? Let's do a little bit of a fun thing. The kanji for America, when it's written in native Japanese, it's beikoku. Beikoku. And bei means rice. Isn't that weird that we typically in the West associate Asia and Japan with rice dishes, but America is called beikoku, which means the rice country. Now, this same word in China is written meguo, and meguo is written with beautiful country. It doesn't mean that they thought it was beautiful. They just chose the closest thing that sounded like America. Meguo. So that's what they did. All right. Didn't mean to do a Chinese lesson, but it's kind of interesting. When you learn multiple languages, you start seeing these interesting patterns. And we learned made. So made is kind of like the opposite of kara. Kara starts a time or a location, and made is the final destination marker or the end time marker. So you can say Tokyo made ikimashita. I went as far as Tokyo. Or 1時まで until 1 o'clock. So we can also combine them together to say today's live stream is from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock. 今日のライブストリームは8時から9時までです。And we learned, most recently, we learned this. We learned the with particle. Anything that is in front of this is the thing that you were doing an action with. Okay? For example, I ate with a friend. 友達と食べました. Okay? There's one more particle that I just realized that we are doing in this lesson, but it doesn't make sense as a review. Okay? But it would be de, event location marker. So I ate at a restaurant. レストランで食べました. And one more that we don't have in here, my list is incomplete, is the object marker wo. It's written W-O-O. You guys know what it is. It won't be on the screen because I'm too lazy to edit the video. But wo, when it's said like that, it feels awkward to me, but it's just o when you say it. It marks the object in a sentence. For example, the thing that you are eating is marked with o. The thing that you are drinking is marked with o. So I will eat pizza. Pizza o tabemasu. I drank cola. Cola o nomimashita. All right, that's a good review of all that we've learned. Now, let's go ahead and have a little bit of fun. We're going to put this in, it's not really a story, it's just 3 sentences together that have connecting themes. And we're going to use every particle except for the ones that I forgot to put in that list. Here we go. I'm going to read it to you, and as I'm reading it to you, try to see if you can translate it. The sentences, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 of them, but they're long. 田中さんの友達は日本が大好きです。でも中国と韓国も好きです。田中さんの友達は日本が大好きです。でも中国と韓国も好きです。来年の夏に友達と日本から韓国に行きます。あなたは夏に友達と韓国も好きです。来年の夏に友達と日本から韓国に行きます。あなたはどこまで行きますか？来年の夏、中国と韓国も好きです。来年の夏に友達と日本から韓国に行きます。あなたは
来年の夏、summer of next year、友達と日本から韓国に行きます。Could go from 日本 to 韓国 to Korea。
夏に友達と 日本から韓国に行きます。
I said it's
あなたはどこまで行きますか？
you. Until when do you want to come? You to go?
Think about it just for a second, and then we'll break it down.
Yeah, it's easy. 田中さんの友達は、田中さん friends、日本が大好きです。loves 日本。but 中国と China and Korea、韓国も also、but he also likes China and Korea。来年の夏、summer of next year に友達と with friends 日本から from 日本 and from 日本韓国に行きます。He will go to Korea from 日本。あなたは You どこまで行きますか？ You from where until where do you want to go?
All right. So when we look at this first sentence, every sentence is ending here with this little circly thing, which is the Japanese period, if we remember. So, 田中さんの友達は日本が大好きです。If you remember the rules of wa, everything before the wa is the topic, or part of the topic, for the most part. Okay? So, 田中さんの友達は, that's the person that we're going to talk about. Tanaka's friend. What about him? What's the description of this guy? 日本が大好きです. He really likes Japan. Okay? Demo, but, now notice, this demo is in the beginning of the sentence. Theoretically, we could have had a wa following that. It wouldn't mean that demo was part of the topic. That's why I say it's most often part of the topic. It's always going to be the topic before the wa, but there's other things like you could say like ashita, tomorrow. Tomorrow wouldn't be the topic unless it was directly in front of it. All right? So, でも中国と, that's why we could have had a wa following that. It wouldn't, this demo is in the beginning of the sentence. Theoretically, we could have had a wa following that. It wouldn't mean that demo was part of the topic. That's why I say it's most often part of the topic. It's always going to be the topic before the wa, but there's other things like you could say like ashita, tomorrow. Tomorrow wouldn't be the topic unless it was directly in front of it. All right? So, でも中国と, but 中国と韓国も好きです. But he also likes China and Korea. All right? 来年の夏に友達と日本から韓国に行きます。来年の夏に友達と日本から韓国に行きます。来年の夏に means next summer or summer of next year. And we are marking the time, the complete time is 来年の夏。友達と with a friend 日本から韓国に from Japan to Korea. We don't have to say まで here. We don't. It's optional in this particular sentence because 韓国 is to the complete time is 来年の夏。友達と with a friend 日本から韓国に from Japan to Korea. We don't have to say まで here. We don't. It's optional in this particular sentence because 韓国 is where they're going. It's totally natural to say 韓国に行きます. All right? So 日本から韓国に行きます. So we don't have a topic in this sentence, if you'll notice that. We're just saying next year, next summer, with a friend from Japan to Korea will go. Who? Who will go? If you remember back in the basic sentence structure that we taught in course 1, in Japanese, a topic is introduced like a tennis serve, right? You serve the topic and you don't keep serving, right? You keep that, the ball becomes the topic, right? You serve it once and then you're hitting the same thing back and forth. You don't have to restate the topic. And unlike English, we don't have to say he, she, they. We don't have to keep remembering what we were talking about. We know that the topic is the last thing that was marked with wa. And that last thing is Tanaka-san no tomodachi. So, his friend, right? We know that he likes Japan. We know that he also likes China, and he also likes Korea. And that next year in the summer, with a friend, he is going to go from Japan to Korea. So, it's a little bit complicated if you think about it. It's the friend of Tanaka's friend. Because we've already defined the person doing this thing as Tanaka-san no tomodachi. I didn't even realize that I did that. But really what we're saying is, watch this. We're saying Tanaka-san no tomodachi no tomodachi. Tanaka's friend's friend. Tanaka-san no tomodachi no tomodachi. That's who's going to Korea from Japan. And then, just so I could get ka and made in there, I asked you a question. I didn't mean to hit the mic there. Anata wa doko made ikimasu ka? Up until where will you go? Now, in English, we would just say, until where will you go, or where will you go to? And what that means is, how far will you go? All right. There you have it. That was our mini review. Now, please, without delay, go watch the next video, because everything we just covered in the review here for particles is absolutely needed to understand what's going to happen in the video titled Particle Shuffle, one of what I feel is the most amazing things I've ever come up with in the books. And in this revised edition of book 2, I think there used to only be maybe 5 examples. I made 12 examples in the shuffle, and in this video I added a bonus one because I thought it would be sweet to teach this special sentence that we've never done before. So check it out in lesson.
Okay.
Skip the video. Skip. If you want to rest from facing the truth. Hi, I'm Shahd from Gaza. Today I speak to you all and hold everyone responsible for saving us from the war in Gaza. What are you waiting? What? What are you waiting for to help us? Everyone can help my family and my young brother who's suffering from diabetes. We are facing starvation and have been forced to eat animals' feet. You can assist. You can. Everyone bears the responsibility. I can no longer endure the fear and death. Please help us.
All right, here we go. Nothing weird on my face, except for my face. Welcome to Japanese from Zero, Course 2. This is Lesson 5, and if this is the first lesson you've ever seen, you're wondering why my voice sounds this way. But if you watch the video series from the beginning like you're supposed to, and not randomly from the middle of, like, probably by the end, 120 video series, well, you're going to have a weird time. So I assume, by the way, we know a lot by this point, and we're going to prove how much we know today with this thing called Japanese Particle Shuffle. Now, Japanese Particle Shuffle is something that I introduced in Book 2, and we never do it again. It's one time. I should do more of it, but it was a genius moment, and I'm not that. I don't often have genius moments. So what we're going to do is we are going to, oh, by the way, you do need to know tachitsudeto. We already know this. We're going to go through a sentence that only has 4 words. And all we're going to do is change the particles. Let's look at the words that we need for this sentence. And you already know them. But I want to make sure there's no excuses. To be fair, I didn't know that watashi meant me. I had forgotten that because I haven't been sleeping much. Wait, no excuse. I'm teaching you right now. If you can't remember this for this next thing, because the hard part's not these words. All right. Watashi, I, or me, depending on what? Depending on what English needs. Because Japanese doesn't care. Japanese, it's always watashi. Anata, you. We already know these. We learned these in lesson 2 or 3, I think, of course 1. Tabemashita. 8. That's it. That's all. 8. ate. 食べました. And this word might be new, but it's in this lesson. Restaurant. And we already know su and to. So that's why that katakana is there. For those of you who might post in the comments, how come the re and the ran are not in katakana? Because you didn't watch from video 1, you have no idea how this works. And it's a special technique. That's all I'm going to say. All right, so restaurant. Now, these are the words, and what we're going to do is this. Watashi, something. Anata, something. Restaurant, something. Tabemashita. That's it. All we're going to do is change these 3 circles, okay? And the resulting sentence can be good, and if it's good meaning correct, possible, not weird, it's gonna show our little happy guy. And if it's a bad sentence, and there will be a lot of bad sentences, our little blue guy will show up with his shocked face. All right, here we go. You guys,
あなたはレストランに食べました。レストランで食べました。
ready? Now, what I want you guys to do is, I want you to look at the Japanese sentence and you don't have to say anything unless you're with friends, okay? But you can think to yourself, well, what does this sentence mean? Think of the translation, okay? And think, does that sentence work? Here we go. Here's the first one. 私はあなたのレストランで食べました。私はあなたのレストランで食べました。I ate at your restaurant. 私は I'm the topic. What did I do? What action did I have? あなたのレストランで at your restaurant. This is the particle that we learned in, I think it was this lesson, event location marker. At your restaurant, ate. I ate at your restaurant. Perfectly good sentence. Okay? So that's a good sentence. Let's see what happens next. 私はあなたのレストランを食べました。私はあなたの Oh. I got very confused because I thought I'm debating if I should even explain it, but when I look at my screen, I have this screen up and the very next thing up, and I thought I was looking at the last one and the next one, and they looked like I didn't have any different particles, but they do. Hopefully I've given you some time to think about the answer here. 私はあなたのレストランを食べました。The sentence is 100% the same, except all we did was take what is O now, it was a day before. Okay? So, 私は I, あなたのレストラン your restaurant, but now we've put object marker O in front of restaurant. What does that mean? That marks the object of the sentence, and now restaurant is no longer an event location. It is now the object of the verb 食べました, and it means I ate your restaurant. 私はあなたのレストランを食べました. This is bad Japanese, but it's totally possible that you'll say it if you forget that how the particles work, okay? So you need to have a de here if you want to say at your restaurant, okay? Now you've eaten the restaurant somehow, you pig. You must have been so hungry. All right, now we're gonna switch it up. We're gonna switch it up again. 私はあなたをレストランで食べました。私
At the restaurant, I ate you. I ate you at the restaurant.
私はあなたをレストランで食べました。I, you, at the restaurant, ate.
I ate you at the restaurant.
The object marker is now after anata. That means that the thing that the verb is acting on is you.
Anata.
I ate you at the restaurant. We've got our day back here. So day now marks the event location. That's where I ate you. I ate you at the restaurant. Okay? I was so hungry, I ate the restaurant and then I ate you. And that is a very sad, bad sentence. All right, next one. 私はあなたとレストランで食べました。私はあなたと
I ate at the restaurant with you.
レストランで食べました。I あなたと with you レストランで at the restaurant ate. Now some of you might have got confused and thought I, you, and the restaurant at, but there's a logic to this. I mean, you would never do that. A person and a physical location combined with day just wouldn't happen. Although you could take it that way. This is actually a good sentence. I ate with you at the restaurant. 私はあなたと I with you レストランで食べました. Ate at the restaurant. Okay? We have another good sentence. Yay, happiness, happiness. All right? Again, we have not changed anything but the particles. We've got 4 sentences. By the way, we're keeping track of how many sentences we've been able to make. Here down at the bottom, there's a number. I don't know if you could see it. Yeah, I think you can see it. Okay, so it says number 4 right now. We're on. Here's the 5th one. 私もあなたのレストランで食べました。
I also ate at your restaurant.
私もあなたのレストランで食べました。We no longer have a topic marker. Topic marker is gone. But does that mean we don't have a topic? No. Because if you remember, when we learned mo, the inclusion marker, we talked about the fact that it replaces the wa. It becomes the topic marker in this particular case. And it can be used in other places, and it can replace the object marker if we needed it to. Okay? But right now, it's not doing that. 私も I also あなたのレストランで at your restaurant ate. Another good sentence. I also ate at your restaurant. You know what I just thought would be a really cool game? We could have these 4 words up, right? And then it's like a slot machine. You hit the button and it like makes a sentence. And then you have to say if it's correct or not, if it's a good sentence or not. That would be kind of nice. All right, let's move on. 私とあなたはレストランを食べました。
私とあなたはレストランを食べました。I and you ate at the restaurant. Ate the restaurant. I and you ate the restaurant.
私とあなたはレストランを食べました。Topic is me and you, or you and I, however we need to say it to make English sound good. But you and I, レストランを食べました。O makes the restaurant the thing that the verb is acting upon. It makes it the object of the verb. Therefore, this is a bad sentence. You and me ate the restaurant. Why, again, are we eating a restaurant? All right, that's sentence number 6. We've got some more to go. 私とあなたはレストランと食べました。
I and you with the restaurant ate.
とあなたは
That's a bad sentence.
レストランと食べました。If you said sentences like this, Japanese would be very confused. Particles are very important in Japanese, and I think that these prove it. Let's see what that means. 私とあなたは you and me レストランと with the restaurant ate. You and me ate with the restaurant. Now the restaurant is somehow alive and we are eating together, maybe at another restaurant, which would be very, very Inception feeling. A restaurant eating. What if it was a restaurant eating a restaurant at a restaurant? レストランはレストランをレストランで食べました。私とあなたとレストランは食べました。
You and I and the restaurant ate.
私とあなたとレストランは食べました。私とあなたとレストラン。Me and you and the restaurant are the topic. What did we do? What's the description? The description of what we did is 食べました. We ate. You, me, and that should say and. I got too crazy typing at 8. You, me, and the restaurant ate. This is a great English sentence, though. You, me, ate, the restaurant ate. That's really. I hope there's no Japanese people watching that don't know English very well, because this is a bad English sentence. All right, next one. 私はあなたとレストランを食べました。私
I ate you in the restaurant.
はあなたとレストランを食べました。
I ate you in the restaurant.
Now, this sentence can have two meanings. Let's look at it. I ate the restaurant with you. 私は I あなたと with you レストランを食べました。ate the restaurant. Or it could mean 私はあなたとレストランを食べました。I ate you and the restaurant. You and the restaurant. That would work, but again, it wouldn't really work because this is a bad sentence. It's just bad. You can't use this sentence because the logic's right that it could be both of those meanings. I ate you and the restaurant, and I ate the restaurant with you. But that would never happen because this is just such a bad sentence. Do you understand? All right, let's move on. Number 10. 私をあなたとレストランは食べました。私をあなたとレストランは食べました。
私を ate me. You and the restaurant ate me.
What's the thing getting eaten here? Where's the particle that says this thing got eaten? It's after I, me. I am now getting eaten. Who ate it? Who's the topic? The restaurant. The restaurant ate me with you. Or you and the restaurant ate me. I'm not sure which one I went with. The restaurant and you ate me. Now, for the particle shuffle, I'm not moving any of the order around. This sentence, let's say that this was a good sentence. Normally, the thing that you're eating is directly before the verb. That's more natural. Even though you can move things around, you can have the watashi or the thing o that you ate up above, like way before other things. It's not normal order for Japanese. So normally, you would say like pizza o tabemashita, whatever before that would be there, and the thing that you ate o tabemashita. You try to put the o directly before the verb, okay? But we're doing particle shuffle. And this sentence, if it was not incorrect, would be understandable, okay? 私をあなたとレストランを食べました。The restaurant and you ate me. Next one. Having fun.
私をあなたはレストランと食べました。You
Fun so far?
ate me with the restaurant.
I am. 私をあなたはレストランと食べました. That almost looks like the last one, doesn't it? See the toe and the wa shift. That's it. The toe and the wa. Okay? 私をあなたはレストランと食べました. You ate me with the restaurant. You ate me with the restaurant. This is a vicious restaurant. All right, here's number 12. 私も
あなたもレストランは食べました。You to I to you to restaurant ate.
あなたもレストランは食べました. Now, let's talk about this just for a second. We have two modes in the sentence, and I don't think we've done this yet. But a lot of times, if you're saying this and this and this, sometimes they'll do mo instead of the to. This also and this also and this also. It's very similar to saying watashi to, anata to. You know, it's like saying that. Here we're saying watashi mo anata mo. Me also, you also. Restaurant wa tabemashita. The restaurant ate. So what it really means is the restaurant ate both me and you. Okay, you also and me also. The restaurant ate. And this is the bonus one that's not in the book anywhere. Japanese from Zero Book 2. And also, if you have an older version of Book 2, I don't think all of these examples were in there. I think we had maybe 5 or 6 in the original version. Because it was hard to make these. I gotta be honest, this is tricky. Here we go, bonus one. 私もあなたもレストランも食べました。私もあなたもレストランも食べました。I also, you also, the restaurant also ate. The restaurant and me and you also ate. And that is not a bad sentence. I'm sorry. That's a bad sentence. Sorry. It's only a bad sentence because restaurants can't eat. That's the only reason that's bad. If we had another name here, like Georgie, you, me, and George, we ate. That would totally be fine there. Hope I haven't hurt you too much. I know that was fun and exhausting at the same time. I'll see you all on the next Japanese from Zero video where we continue talking about lesson 5. Wow, there's a lot of stuff in here. じゃあね. Welcome to the white shirt edition of Japanese from Zero. I gotta have a better thumbnail, therefore I must change my shirt, even though it's the same day. Today we are going to, I say today as if it's a different day, but it's the same day from the last video. And this is lesson 5, continuation. This is going to be very short. We're just going to talk about one of the, it's a very short grammar point, but it's important. It's inviting someone, but it's doing it in a way that it's not unique to Japanese, but it might not be something you would think of in Japanese just by hearing it the first time. So let's look at it. Let's look at some new words. 一緒に, 一緒, together, 一緒に. All right. Ocha, tea, ocha, and a movie. 映画. I love movies. Science fiction. Love movies. You know that Japanese, I don't know if they still do this because I haven't been to a Japanese movie in a long time, but Japanese movie theaters is assigned seating. You get assigned a seat. So when you buy your ticket, you're looking, just like a concert if you have a good seat or not. So it's kind of an interesting thing. And also, they'll come around and sell like hot dogs and hamburgers to you while you're sitting down. It's not like America where you buy your stuff first and then go inside. They do it inside the theater. Pretty cool. All right, so we're going to use those words and we're going to learn a way to ask somebody to do something with us, okay? Instead of saying ikimasu ka? Will you go? You're going to make a suggestive invite. And that's what this is. Which, when I say suggestive invite, doesn't it sound advanced? I mean, this is course 2. It sounds like you're learning, I learned how to do suggestive invite today. 明日、映画に行きませんか? 明日、映画に行きませんか? Now, we have never, up until this point, ever said 行きませんか? We've never had it. We've had 行きましたか? We've had 行きませんでしたか? Right? 行きましたか? Did you go? 行きませんでしたか? Didn't you go? And 行きますか? Will you go? But this is, won't you go? Will you not go? But it doesn't mean you're not going. It does not mean you're not going. It means, won't you go to the movies with me tomorrow? Right? Won't you go to the movies tomorrow? It is an invitation for that person to go with you. Okay? So, 明日映画に行きませんか? All right? Next one. 一緒にお茶を飲みませんか? 一緒にお茶を飲みませんか? Won't you have some tea together? Very, very British sounding. Won't you drink some tea? But in English, we tend to say have some tea. And we never probably say this in America. We don't ever say, hey, do you want to get some tea? We say coffee. But Japanese like to say ocha. Right? So I'm saying ocha by mistake. Don't do that. It's ocha. Ocha. No little tsu. I don't know what I was. The little tsu in ishoni was really messing with my brain. So, 一緒にお茶を飲みませんか? Won't you drink some tea with me? Now, this is something you could literally meet somebody for the very first time on the street in Tokyo or at Shibuya. If you go to Japan, you have to go to Shibuya. Shibuya has that crosswalk. It's just like that busy crosswalk in New York. All the Japanese people at one time cross the street in all directions. It's really cool. But you could meet somebody in Shibuya, and then you could say, 一緒にお茶を飲みませんか? 一緒にお茶を飲みませんか? And you could throw in front of that, I'll give you a little bonus. よろしかったら. We don't know this. Just keep that as a phrase in your brain, not in the book anywhere. Won't be on a test. よろしかったら. If it's all right with you, wouldn't you drink some tea with me? And the last one. 来月の月曜日に私とピザを食べませんか? It's a very, very good plan. 来週の月曜日に私とピザを食べませんか? What does that mean? 来週
The
の
Monday
月
of next week. に私とピザを食べませんか? Won't you eat pizza with me in the Monday of next week?
曜日に Well, に marks the time. So that's a time, right? Or yeah, it's a time. Or a location, but this is 月曜日 is a day. 来週の月曜日 Oh yeah. Next Monday 私とピザを Me and pizza? No, that doesn't make sense. With me! 私とピザを食べませんか? Won't you eat pizza with me next Monday? Now, it doesn't sound like in English when you say, won't you eat pizza with me next Monday? It sounds awkward, right? But really, what you're saying is, hey, do you want to eat pizza with me next Monday? Or, hey, do you want to drink some tea? Hey, do you want to go to the movies? That's what it sounds like. Now, later on, when you learn, do you want to do this? That's awkward. To directly ask somebody, do you want to, and we don't know this yet, but it's coming up. Do you want to do something? It's only good if you know the person. If you don't know the person, it's really awkward to say that. Even though in English, we'll say it. Do you want to do this thing? In Japanese, it'll be masenka. Okay? And it could even be the informal. Once we get in lesson 9 of this book, we'll learn informal, and I'll show you how to do it again informal. All right, that is it. We have one more video today for the live stream, but for those of you guys that are watching like years later after I've made this video, you can relax. It's the next lesson. That was the last video for lesson 5. I'll see you all in lesson 6 though, where I might change my shirt again. See you then. Bye-bye.
Wouldn't it be cool to recognize the chords of a song just by listening to it, like this guy?
Hello and welcome to lesson 6. Wow, we're making great progress. We're pretty much halfway through the book now. This lesson's very short, but there's a concept in it that I think is a little bit difficult. And that's why we're going to do a video just talking about this particular concept. It is the very useful mo. Now, I want to remind you that there's a thing that happens, by the way, you do need to know. Na, ni, nu, ne, no. Akasatana, ha, na. Akasatana. So, mayara. We're already halfway through the katakana. We're almost done. In 4 lessons, 5 more lessons, we'll know all of the katakana. Very nice. There's a thing that happens in Japanese, not just Japanese, but any language that you learn it, but let's just keep it to Japanese for right now. So, some things in English, we talked about this before, I just want to remind you, some things have one version in Japanese and one version in English. For example, a dog is a dog, right? Inu, dog, and neko, cat, right? So it's a one-to-one relationship. Then there are those things where the Japanese word is 2 versions and the English is 1. There's multiple ways to say it in Japanese, but only it becomes one thing in English. And that's, for example, imasu and arimasu, right? To have. Because in English, we just have, I have a girlfriend and I have some headphones, some earphones. Even though these are dead, wow, it's the same word, have. In Japanese, it's awkward. In Japanese, we have iru, aru, right? Iru for have living things and aru for have dead things. Or not dead things, but non-living things. And So that's where Japanese has more. Well, now we're going to learn something where Japanese has just one version, but English has three different things happen. And this happens. So when you're speaking Japanese and you're translating, I spit right now. I was very excited, and I know it's not the first time I spit, but it's the first time I felt like you could see it. And I'm sorry for that. It went it's like right there. Ugh. When you're translating Japanese and English, you have to make sure, I keep saying this, but I want you to remember, make the English sound natural. That will make you a better translator or interpreter. And even though maybe your goal isn't to become an interpreter, you will have to interpret. You will be around people that don't speak English but speak Japanese, or the other way around, and you will end up being that person. So even if you're from another country, let's say you're from Denmark or Norway or Germany, and you're watching these videos in English, but maybe you learn Japanese and you actually are German. The German needs to sound natural. Don't make the German sound awkward because you're trying to match the Japanese. All right, so it's a very short video, but I just made it long. New words. We're just going to learn 2 new verbs, just to throw them in here. There's only 2 new verbs in this lesson. Kaku, to write. Kaku, to write. And yomu, to read. If you go to the dictionary and you look up kaku, it also means to scratch. Kind of a cool thing. If you look it up with the kanji, of course, it will. We don't have the kanji showing here, but just in the hiragana, it will bring multiple verbs that mean something different. But now we're learning to write something. Okay. Yomu is to read. Okay. Seems like a good combination of things to know. And boom, we need to know what mo is. In Japanese, it is one thing, but in English, it is already, more, or any more. And there might even be more things that it can do, but right now that's all I could come up with. That's all we talk about in the book. There's these 3 things that mo does. Okay, so let's look at it. When you have mo followed by a past tense verb, it means already did, whatever that verb is. For example, I start out already with a question. Mo tabemashita ka? Did you already eat? Mo tabemashita ka? If you did, you can say, Hai, mo tabemashita. Yes, I already ate. Hey, do you want to go eat with us? Iie, mo tabemashita. No, I already ate. Pretty handy, right? To know mo is pretty handy. Mo kairimashita. Mo kairimashita. I already went home. Remember that if you're at home and you said kairimashita, it means you're home. I mean, you are home. Mo kairimashita. And if you've already left the office, you've left to go home. So if someone says, hey man, are you still at the office? I need you to check the IPS report. Sumimasen. Mo kairimashita. Sorry, I'm already home. And by the way, if you are working in an office, you should just say that anyway. No one wants to work. Come on. Hey, I want to recommend a book for you guys. It's called Harry Potter. Mo yomimashita. Already read it. Mo yomimashita. Oh, okay. Wow. I just noticed something. Let me fix something here. Let me type something new in here that I want to talk about. I just noticed this new thing. I even predicted that it was going to happen, and it did happen. So, mo 3時です. It's already 3. There's not a past tense there, but now it means already. Okay? So whatever the English needs to make sense, mo 3時です. It's already 3. I had there as a typo, mo 3時でした, which means not. It's awkward. It's already was 3. You wouldn't say. So it doesn't have to be past tense here. It's already 3. You put mo in front of this thing that's already become that state. Did you already eat? Did you already come? I already came home. Already read. Already 3. Makes sense. Right? But if you think of mo only meaning already, you're going to have a bad time. Because if you add it in front of a counter word, or a numbered thing that we were talking about, we learned this. Well, we've been learning it through course 1 and course 2. So let's look at numbered more things, what it would mean. So, for example, もう一つください. もう一つください. One more generic object, right? One more thing. Remember, when you don't know the counter word, just say 一つ. You might be wrong, but at least they'll know what you mean, you know? And that's what you want. If you said もう一ください, they would not understand you. If you learn any counter, please learn 一つ、二つ、三つ、四つ, or you will not. You can't do もう一ください. You can't. Now, there are some counters that have ichi in it. You already know one, by the way. We haven't talked about it. But we already know a phrase that even has it in it. Even mo. In the beginning of this book, we teach you a lot of phrases. And we say, very specifically, don't worry about the grammar. Eventually, you'll know the grammar. But thinking about it now is too much. Here's a prime example. もう一度言ってください. もう一度. Now, we don't know a lot of what's happening in that sentence. We know mo means one more because there's a one after that. Ichido. Ichido means one time. One more time, and we don't know this yet. Itte kudasai. Please say it. Please say it one more time. All right? もう三人来ました. もう三人来ました. Okay? Now, I just thought of something. You know, this could mean two things. And I didn't mean to do this, but now that I'm thinking clearly, もう三人来ました means it can mean two things. 3 more people came, or 3 people have already come. Let's say you're at a party, and this is always going to be context, right? Always. So let's say you're at a party, and I'm not there yet, and I call and say, hey man, 何人いますか? How many people are there? Or maybe I ask you directly, 何人来ましたか? How many people came? You could say, あ、もう3人来ました. Oh, 3 people are already here. Then in the very next breath, the guy could go, あ、もう3人来ました. Ah, 3 more people came. In the meaning changes because it's a different context. There's already 3 people here, and 3 more came. Okay? もう1匹欲しいです. もう1匹欲しいです. We don't know what animal he wants because we don't know the context, but we know because the counter is 1匹, he wants one more of whatever he has. Could be a fish, could be a dog or a cat. What can't it be? It can't be a rabbit because rabbits are not counted with 1匹2匹. If you remember that lesson, it was just a few videos back, or just, it's actually it's either, it's lesson, honestly I don't remember. It's probably like the last lesson. I don't remember, I'm doing too many videos. We know that birds and rabbits use wa. 1羽2羽3羽. If you want one more bird, you would say もう1羽欲しいです. Okay? Alright. If you are thirsty and you drink an entire Coca-Cola, or what's a good Japanese drink? There's a Japanese drink called Calpis. Calpis. But it sounds like something disgusting. So when we were in Japan, we used to always, the newbies that came to Japan, we would say, hey, do you want to drink, this is a very famous drink in Japan, do you want to drink some Calpis? And we're saying Calpis, but it registers as something else. Like, no, but it's really delicious. In America, we sell it here, but they changed the name to Calpico, because of course we couldn't sell that. But what if you liked it and you wanted one more, you would say, もう一本飲みます. I will drink one more. Now notice in that case, it probably would not ever be already I will drink one. It doesn't make any sense. But if it was past tense, もう一本飲みました. It's always already. I already drank one. もう一本飲みました. Alright. Oh, you know, at the end we're going to put all 3 in a row. I think it's going to be good. も plus negative. This means I am not going to do this thing anymore. Won't do anymore, or not something anymore when it's, okay? When it's plus negative. For example, もう可愛くないです. This is something maybe a parent would say. Maybe your mom said it to you. She's like, look, you were cute. You were cute when you were a baby. But right now, もう可愛くないです. You're not cute anymore. You're not cute anymore. Sorry. もう行きません. let's say you went to a restaurant and you had a very, very bad experience. You could say, I'm not going there again. Mo ikimasen. Let me give you a bonus one. I like giving bonuses every now and then. A real common thing you hear the Japanese people say is nidoto. Nidoto. That means not a second time. So if you'll hear this together. Mo nidoto ikimasen. It really means I'll never go again. I'll never give it a second shot. Never go again. Nidoto. Kind of a bonus. All right. Mo kodomo janai desu. Mo kodomo janai desu. I'm saying it as if I was saying it. I'm not a child anymore. Actually, I had this fight with my wife. We were married maybe a few months, I remember, and it was after Japanese class one day. We taught the Japanese class, and we were arguing over something, probably about the lesson itself. And I was in the car, and I was so frustrated because she always wins the argument. Like, literally, she's smarter than me as a human being. And I got very frustrated, and I remember this is exactly how it looked. It was like this. This is the steering wheel of the car. She's over here. I'm like, I'm not a child anymore. And my hands hurt really bad after that. I still remember. This is why I don't hit things anymore with my hand. I learned at that moment not to do that. But I still get made fun of 20 years later from my wife that I'm not a child anymore. All right. But you could say this to your kid. Look, you're not a kid anymore, all right? Maybe I could say it to my daughter who's in college now. I could say, Mari-chan, anata wa mou kodomo janai desu. Mari, you're no longer a child anymore. Mou asa janai desu. Maybe you promised to do something in the morning. This happens to me. Yeah, no, don't do that. I'll do that thing. I'll do that in the morning. Yeah. Mou asa janai desu yo. We don't need the yo yet. We'll learn that coming up soon. Mou asa janai desu. It's not morning anymore. All right. Let's throw in something because it's part of this lesson. It's very easy to do though. We know how to say mas, masen, mashita, and masen deshita. But in that very same lesson, we could have learned masho. It's that easy. It's just another ending. In the book, I noticed it's called a stem. That's my mistake. I used to call these things stems. If you have that version of the book, I apologize. It should say ending. It's the masho ending. And those of you that are studying in other books or know grammar, this is called the volitional. I tried to say volitional, but I said grammar instead. Volitional form. I hate calling it volitional form. Let me tell you why. If you're in a classroom right now and you're watching this video, I want you, everyone who knows what volitional means, raise your hand. Those of you with your hands raised, you liars. Because we don't really know what volitional means. But what it means is you're going to do it on your own volition. You're going to do it. But even that doesn't know. It's the let's go form. That's all it is. Let's. 一緒に行きましょう. Let's go together. 一緒に行きましょう. Now, when you say masho form, it always means let's together, right? You don't say this. You don't say it to yourself, right? You don't say, hey, let's go. Because what does let's mean? Let us is what it means. That's where it comes from. Let us. Not lettuce. Let us. Okay? So it's always more than one person, right? So you say it to someone else saying, hey, let's do this thing. Okay? 一緒に行きましょう. So you don't really need to say 一緒に. You can just say 行きましょう. Let's go. You know it's together, right? 帰りましょう. Now remember, we learned 帰る to mean, it has multiple meanings in English, right? Let's return, let's go home, it means come home, it's all those things. Here, maybe you're somewhere that's not fun, boring, and your girlfriend or your boyfriend or your friend says, 帰りましょう. Let's go home. Let's get out of here. Okay? 昼ご飯を食べましょう. 昼ご飯 means lunch. So let's eat lunch. Now, if you add a ka at the end, for example, 書きましょうか. 書きましょうか? This is very nice sounding Japanese. It's so nice. Okay? It's nice because let's say you hear a new Japanese word and you're confused, a very nice Japanese person might say, kakimashou ka? When there's a ka at the end, it means, shall I write it for you? Shall I write it for you? Do you want me to write it for you? Kakimashou ka? Shall I write it? Okay. So, for example, people's names is a common one. You know, you're like, I don't know what your name is saying. You say your name is, because you know Japanese people do. When you ask them their name, they say their entire name. They're like, Yamaguchi Kentaro desu. They're like, what? How many syllables does your name have? But they say their last name, Yamaguchi, then their first name. We don't know how to say this. We don't know how to say please write it. But if you're lucky, they'll say kakimashou ka? Shall I write it for you? All right. And ikimashou ka? Shall we go? Yes, we shall. I'll see you on the next video, which is still lesson 6. It's a bonus video. See you there. Bye.
The best side hustle to do in 2024 is to get a fully remote online job that takes 2 hours a day.
안녕하세요.
How are you, Benzerka? Hope you're well. How is the study going? The study is going amazing. I'm getting used to Japanese grammar. Ohisai burine. Ohisai burine. Ohisai burine. Wait, what? Long time no see, by the way.
お久しぶりね。
It's been a while. It's been a while. I missed you, Benzerka. So, yes, anyway, I'm going to go now. I'll definitely see you tomorrow. And yeah, thank you for coming by, Benzerka. I'll see you tomorrow as well, definitely. Day 77 will be tomorrow. Yeah, we did 1 hour today. Is enough. Okay, thank you very much. And bye bye, yeah, good night.